Hello, my friends. It is Monday evening and I am back with you. Hello, welcome. It's Brennan Gasaway here. Tonight we are going to talk about the stat that's in the title. 76% of Americans are not getting enough blank. So you guys gave so many good guesses and I cannot wait to reveal the answer. But what I need you guys to do as soon as you hop on this live stream, drop a 1 if you are watching live, drop a 2 if you're watching the replay. And I want to fill you guys in on how I'm here tonight with this topic. So last week we talked about inflammation, all things inflammation. And that came about because I was doing some personal research about inflammation, what it does to your body, really got into like a deep dive about how bad it was for your body, all of these problems that it caused. And I came on live last week and shared those findings with y'all. And I had notes because some of it was a little bit scientific. Some of it was very detailed. So if you need information on inflammation, you're going to want to watch last week's live. But after that live, I had so many people, I feel like my inbox blew up, of people saying, hey, we really liked the more scientific, technical, deep dive into the problems, but also how you work through them. So if inflammation is causing problems in your body, why do we have inflammation? How do you combat inflammation? All of these things. So here's how tonight's notes all came about. I did another deep dive for y'all. I went into science. I have a medical journal thing. And I was like, okay, we have to figure out how to make this simple so that anybody that's watching this live is not absolutely bored and you feel like you're reading IRS tax codes or something. So I have, y'all, simple terms, all the things. But when you guys jump on, I want you to drop a 1 if you are live, drop a 2 if you're watching the replay. And I'm logging on right now to say hello to a few of y'all that are doing just that. And then I'm going to dive into this. And I actually did my math wrong because it's not 76% of Americans are not getting enough blank. It's actually 77%. But for some reason, couldn't do my basic math there. But here we are. So good to see everyone. Hello, Carrie. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Donna. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Jamie. Question for y'all. If you got to watch last week's live, did you learn something about inflammation? Was that helpful? If you didn't get to watch it yet, just say replay because you can go back and watch the replay. But here's what we're going to talk about tonight. So this particular topic is a personal thing that I started working on actually a couple years ago. Before I even started using Bravenly, I was and still am seeing the same naturopathic doctor. And this is one of the things that he told me that I had to work on for myself as a female, all of these things. And I'm like, but, because it's hard. And I know there's going to be so many of you guys watching this tonight. And I have some ideas to also help with this, but I know that it's not going to work perfectly in everyone's life, right? Because maybe you have little babies, or maybe you have a swing shift at a job, or whatever it might be. Here's my advice. As you guys are watching this live tonight, as we are deep diving into this subject, find one thing that you can just start improving. It doesn't have to be all 5 of the tips I give, or I think I actually have 4 tips tonight, but y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, just what's the one thing that you can improve, okay? And by the way, if you're just jumping on, drop a 1 if you're live, drop a 2 if you're watching the replay. Carrie, when you do go and watch that other replay, maybe I can link it here afterwards or something. It was crazy, the stuff I found about inflammation. So here is, I'm going to fill in the blank. And I had people guessing, a lot of people guessed water, protein, sleep. And while I'm not going to be talking about water and protein tonight, here's what I am going to be talking about. 76% of Americans are not getting enough sleep. Okay. So to me, when I first started really deep diving into the subject a couple years ago, it's like, okay, well, you just sleep better the next night, or you just try to get more sleep the next night, or whatever it might be. Oh no, that might be great. That might help, but I have some data. I have some facts and things to share with you guys. And by the way, anybody that was guessing water, protein, I put up a post earlier. What were some of the other guesses? Maybe you guys can tell me. Actually, water is probably, most likely the majority of Americans are not getting enough water and they are not getting enough protein. Those are facts. That was another thing too, that my doctor had me working on too, was specifically those things, okay? So maybe all of my health journeys that's led me up until this point, if you have seen my before and afters, it's not just about the weight, but it maybe all of those things that have led us to this point is me going through some trials and troubles and things. I learned through it and I'm able to be here and share it with y'all. And your journey is the same. You are meant to inspire someone, right? So, Are you guys ready to dig into it? Drop a yes if you're ready to hear about the issues that sleep is causing, the lack of sleep, as well as some of the common causes. And we're gonna do a little deep dive on some things that I have done for my own sleep to help me get more sleep. You can even think right now about yourself, like how much different you feel in the morning when you wake up and you haven't gotten the proper amount of sleep, how different you feel, okay? All right, you guys are ready for a deep dive? I love it. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Donna. I can see y'all's comments right here. So I am going to be looking at my notes, especially when I'm quoting the medical journal here in a little bit, okay? So one of the things, we probably all could have guessed this, that is a negative effect of not getting enough sleep is your immune system weakens. So you're going to be more susceptible to the common cold, the flu, viruses, or any of those things that are going around. I think we can all, I mean, when we're sick, we're like, hey, go get some sleep, right? So we get that one. But think about how it compounds when you don't get enough sleep over and over and over, okay? They get it? Just hang in there. Your brain struggles to function is number 2. Without enough sleep, concentration, decision-making, and problem-solving abilities, they go down. So you're going to feel forgetful, foggy, and we're all familiar with these things, but think about how that's affecting your every single day life. Your mood takes a dive. So lack of sleep can lead to irritability, mood swings, and even anxiety or depression. This is where, for me, it's like if I have a lack of sleep, it's, yes, I'm going to use my brew. Yes, I'm going to use my rush. And those things absolutely help, but they cannot make up for the negative effects that are being caused by not having sleep. But for me, also, one of the ways that it kind of manifests my lack of sleep is small frustrations are so much larger. They feel like really big problems. Does anybody say me below if you relate to that? I have this rule. I do not make big decisions if I'm opting into something, if I'm choosing something isn't for me, if I am hungry, emotional, or tired. I do not make any big decisions. You are welcome to adopt that if that helps you and serves you in your life, okay? Your physical health is going to suffer. So chronic sleep deprivation increases the risk of serious health problems like heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke. I think we all knew those. Listen to this one, because these are 2 things that we often hear about, but you don't think about them being associated with sleep. You also don't think about them being associated with hormones. So your hormones get out of whack. Sleep affects hormones like cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and also leptin, which is the hunger, which makes you feel hungry or not hungry. Not getting enough sleep can lead to increased stress levels, sugar cravings, and overeating, okay? So let's get into a few things that are causing the lack of sleep. Maybe it's your toddlers, maybe it's your babies. And you know, if you're having to get up at night and you're feeding babies, like there's only so much you can do, right? But I think that everyone can find one of these tips that I'm getting ready to share that will help you along the way. And that's just my goal for you. Like just make it 1% better, okay? So one of the reasons that people are not getting enough sleep is stress and anxiety, worrying about work, worrying about family, maybe medical bills, maybe worrying about what you have to do the next day. Have you ever, here's how you know you might have some stress or anxiety, okay? When you lay down to go to bed and maybe your body feels physically exhausted. Maybe you feel like you could just crash out. And then you lay down and what starts? The list in your head of everything and this and the thing you did when you were 17 years old that was super silly and this and how you did this and you got to do this and what about this and what. That's how you know you have some stress and anxiety and your mind is just racing. And I have some tips for that in a second, okay? Also, when you do have that stress and anxiety, that means your cortisol is heightened. And just a reminder, cortisol is your stress hormone. Could someone type that in the comments for me, please? Cortisol equals stress hormone. So when you hear me referencing cortisol, because it's going to come up a lot more in the rest of my study that I did. And your stress, when you have the stress, we're going to get into that too, okay? Number 2, you could have poor sleep habits. And here's how that might look. Maybe you have inconsistent sleep times. Maybe one night you are going to bed at 9 and one night you're going to bed at 1, or maybe you're staying up and watching reels or whatever it might be. And you know, this one was hard for me when Linnea was younger because once the kids are in bed, then that's your quiet time, right? And it's like you always, okay, well, I deserve some quiet time, which I get. I have been there, y'all. Okay, I'm going to stay up late watching this show, or I'm going to stay up and watch these reels. Well, there wasn't reels back when she was little, but you get my point. Or you're reading a book, and then the next day you're just exhausted. It's like you just keep setting yourself up for just a little bit worse success. So it could be poor sleep habits, maybe excessive screen time before bed. I also have some tips about that because I want to teach you guys a setting you need to do on your phone as well. It could be lifestyle factors such as maybe you are consuming caffeine too late in the day, maybe alcohol, maybe you're eating a large meal too late in the day. Did you guys know? This is something my doctor taught me. You probably think I would have known this, whatever. I don't know. Maybe y'all learned it in high school. I didn't go to high school. Not kidding. If you don't know my story, I went to 8th grade. Okay. And here I am running a wildly successful business. So when you're eating, your body needs energy. It has to divert energy to digest your food. So if you go and eat a large meal and then you go and lay down, your body has to try to digest that food, and it's putting energy towards that, not helping you calm down and fall asleep. So my doctor wants me to not eat after 7 o'clock at night. Has nothing to do with weight loss, even though I'm sure that does help. I'm sure there's something to do with that, but it specifically was for my sleep routine to not eat after 7 o'clock at night. Can you guys put that in the comments? Maybe just put it as a guideline. Doesn't mean it has to be for you. Maybe it's something that you adopt that helps you. Now, if I'm getting to eat dinner and it's 7:15, I'm still going to eat my dinner. Okay. I'm not going to skip my dinner. It's just one thing that I really try to be aware of, to eat dinner before 7 o'clock. And if you guys are just jumping on now, drop a 1 if you're live, drop a 2 if you're watching the replay. You guys are best at taking notes, by the way. Okay. I do want to note, I made a note here, if there are actual medical disorders that are going to disrupt your sleep, and I don't want anyone to look over them or to not get them handled how you need to, whether you have sleep apnea or there's a bunch of different ones. I'm not familiar with all of them because I don't have them, but those are actually things you might need to go get a CPAP machine for or something like that, okay? Doesn't mean some of these other tips might not help, but you actually might need medical attention. So make sure you're looking into that. Another big one that falls in lifestyle factors for common causes of lack of sleep is excessive screen time before bed. Maybe what you're watching before bed. We can dig into that in a little bit, okay? Also hormonal changes. So pregnancy, postpartum, menopause, your monthly cycle, as you're having hormonal changes, it does impact your sleep. And we're actually going to be talking about hormones here in just a little bit. So here are a couple things that can help you with your sleep. We've already talked about what lack of sleep does besides makes us grouchy. It can make you overeat. It can cause your cortisol, your stress hormone to go up. There's so many different things, let alone it's not good for your body. So one of the things that you can do, and I'm going to list off a couple, and if you feel like there's something you can do in that area, you can just put it in the comments. So for example, this is number 1. If there's anything in number 1 you feel like you could do to help with your sleep routine, just put a 1 in the comments. Does that make sense? Okay. You guys are the best. All right. 1, create a relaxing bedtime routine and optimize your sleep environment. And I wrote down specific things to go along with that. And I hope I don't ruffle any feathers. Okay. It's coming up. You can wind down with calming activities like reading, journaling, la, 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 la. But the opposite side of that is if you are watching, there's a lot of people right now that are really enjoying like true crime podcast or true crime shows. And if that's your jam, like that's your jam, I get it. But you might want to consider not watching them for 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Because not only is excessive screen time bad because of blue light, and I am going to tell you guys about the setting on your phone. It's also, if you're watching something that's incredibly active, maybe it's a shoot 'em up show or something. I don't know. If you're watching a cop show or true crime or anything like that, think about the heightened level of anxiety or stress in your body. Okay. I don't watch stuff like that. I used to a long time ago. And if I would watch something that was scary before bed, I'm not talking horror, y'all. I'm talking like Criminal Minds, okay? If I would watch something like Criminal Minds or a police show before bed, I would literally, this is when we had, you know the bathtub that has the shower in it, so you have the curtain? If I would need to get up and use the bathroom before bed, I would make Dustin go check the shower, like pull back the shower curtain and make sure no one's in there. So think about the state your body has to be in to be like, I hope there's nothing scary in the shower because I need to go potty before I go to bed. So if you're in that heightened level of anxiety or stress, imagine then you're telling your body, hey, you need to calm down and you need to go to sleep. Does this make sense? Did I ruffle any feathers? I hope I didn't offend anybody. Again, if that is your jam, do it. Just maybe consider not right before bed, okay? If it helps you sleep, I don't know what to say. That's good. Another thing that you can do is really make sure your bedroom is set up for sleep, meaning it's the right temperature, meaning there's not maybe crazy flashing lights. Do you need like a blackout curtain? Any of those things. Another thing that I personally do, and I also came upon it multiple times when I was putting together all these notes, go to bed and get up at a certain time, even on the weekends. Now, the one variation for us is sometimes on Sundays, but my internal alarm clock doesn't even allow me to do that sometimes, okay? So every single day, my body wakes me up almost 3 minutes before my alarm goes off. Like it just knows. So we go to bed at the same time, we wake up at the same time, even on the weekends, besides for Sunday sometimes, except I always end up waking up. Even if I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna set my alarm, I wanna sleep in tomorrow, I still wake up. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we talked about, so that was number one. If there's anything you could implement from number one, would you put it in the comments, all right? So I'll read them all. You can choose the one that you really want to get going on right now. It might be a couple of them. Might be hard to put them all into practice right now. You decide, okay? Number two, so put a number one in the comments. Amber said she's a number one. Carrie suggested no TV in the bedroom. That's a really great one. That's actually very common. A lot of people, I don't know if it's very common. I've heard it a lot, not to have a TV in the bedroom. We don't watch TV before bed. So number two, limit caffeine, alcohol, and late night snacks. Now I just touched on this, but the late night snacks is because your body has to divert energy to digesting your food versus helping you calm down and go to sleep. And you guys, I have, in just a minute, we're actually going to be talking about GABA, okay? Because I can't pronounce the actual name. So GABA, because the actual name is gamma amino butyric acid. Maybe, did I do it? We're going to be talking about the neurons and how it triggers the ion channels. And I think I have it simplified down that it's going to make sense for all of us, because I had to read it and repeat it to myself a couple times, but it blew my mind. So I can't wait to tell you guys that. Hopefully you guys are like geeking out a little bit and nerding out a little bit on some of this stuff too. So number two is limit caffeine, alcohol, and late night snacks. So put a 2 in the comments if there's something that you can do from there. Okay. Put a 2 in the comments if that's something that you could do. Again, my time is 7 o'clock. I do not drink caffeine midday till later in the day. I don't really know if I have a problem with it keeping me awake, but I assume that it would, right? Number 3, let's talk about blue lights. So blue light is going to be the light that is emitted from your phone, from your computer, from your tablet, from your laptop, from your TV, anything that's an electronic. It's going to have that blue light that it's putting off of the screen. Now, listen to this. Did you know, are you guys ready? Give me a drum roll in the comments. Drum roll. Blue light interferes with your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. It suppresses the production of melatonin, which is the hormone that helps you feel sleepy. And without enough melatonin, your brain still stays alert, your brain stays on, your brain stays focused, trying to do the things, which is going to make it harder for you to fall asleep. So, okay, before my doctor hit me upside the head and was like, I would, if you're like this, and this is your phone before bed, and you're on it, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'm going to go to sleep. Or your phone's falling on your face because you're watching reels while you're going to sleep. That is blue light that is keeping you up until those last moments. So it is disrupting the production of melatonin. So I found that really crazy. Here are some tips. Are you guys ready for some tips? Now, I specifically have a tip for iPhone. I have not tested it on Android, Samsung, or other phones. So if you guys have a Samsung or an Android, could you please say Samsung or say Android in the comments? What I would love for you to do to help us out is after this live, take this tip, try it on your phone, and if it works, can you come back to the comments and tell us, or tell us how you did it, or any of those things for anybody else that's trying to learn, okay? Because I have an iPhone, so I know how to do it on an iPhone. So you could get blue light blockers. I have 2 different pairs actually. There's some really cute ones out there. I have these, and then I also have, oh, don't mind my drawer here. I also have these. These are blue light blockers. So they're going to help filter any of the blue light that is coming from your electronics. There's a lot of ones out there. Excuse me, you can get them on Amazon. You can get them in a lot of different places. I will say I have found I usually like to buy the ones that are a little more expensive, like $50 or so, because some of the blue light blockers have like a brown film or tint almost to them, which is, you know, combating the blue light, but then you just kind of look like you have yellow eyeballs. I don't know if that made sense, because the lenses are like a little bit tinted. Okay, does that make sense? By the way, will you guys drop a 1 if you're watching live, drop a 2 if you're watching the replay? We have 9 more minutes to get through all of this stuff, and I got some science stuff to tell you, okay? So, you could get some blue light blockers. The other thing you could do is turn on dark mode on your iPhone. Now it's called night mode or dark mode depending on the device you have. So put that in the comments for me, please. Dark mode or night mode. For me on my iPhone, I go to settings, I go to display and brightness, and it's literally right here. I can just select dark mode, and I'm going to show you guys what it does. So it takes out all the white, all the blue, not all, but the majority of the white and the blue that's in your screen, and it replaces it with darker colors, meaning there's less blue light being emitted from your phone. Okay, awesome, right? So I'm going to click it on dark and just show you guys. Oh, my screen is so, this is my second phone, so I guess I don't clean it. I'm sorry, there's no coming back. There's no coming back from that right now, so we just got to roll with it. Anyway, you guys can see how much darker it made it. Also on iPhone, at least on my actual phone, this one, I have it set where it just turns on at a certain time of night. Okay, so there is a way to schedule it as well. So I would encourage you to figure out something around blue light. So that's tip number 3. So if there's something around tip number 3 that you can incorporate for your life, put a 3 in the comments. I do want to add that dark mode or that night mode. It will help reduce eye strain. It's going to minimize brightness, but because you're getting less blue light, it's going to help your body naturally produce more melatonin. Okay, those are tip number 3. Now, tip number 4, we're going to get a little scientific because we're going to talk about the products that I am using that so many, almost 90,000 people in this group, people that are using for helping with sleep. Many of you guys already know Drift, but I'm actually going to mention 4 to you guys, okay? And I went into them and I'm like, what is the ingredient in here that would help your mind calm down to help with sleep? Or what is the ingredient in here that is for sleep? Now, Drift is our product that is specifically for sleep. It has melatonin in it, has some other things in it like GABA, which I want to talk about in a second. But Drift is specifically formulated. It is our hot cocoa that tastes delicious. You drink before bed. It helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling rested. It has multiple ingredients in it, one of them being melatonin. So a lot of people already understand that. I wanted to do a deep dive into GABA. Are you guys ready for that? I need you to put like yes in the comments because this part is scientific. Because GABA, G-A-B-A, is in Drift. Let's see if everybody's saying yes or if I've already scared y'all. Surely not, right? Surely not. Okay, I see some yeses. Hang in there with me for a second. So GABA is in Drift, okay? So when GABA, let me back up. GABA is a naturally occurring neurotransmitter in the brain that plays a critical role in promoting relaxation and reducing neural excitability. It functions as the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, meaning it slows down nerve cell activity by binding to GABA receptors. So basically, here's what that meant to me after I read it multiple times and had to watch some videos and things. Really, your brain, think of it like this. Your brain's excited, your brain is firing, all these things are going on. GABA just helps calm it down, okay? It helps with overactive neurons. It helps reduce stress and anxiety. It helps induce sleep. It also works in synergy with other relaxation promoting things like melatonin to enhance sweet sleep quality and reduce the time it takes to fall asleep. So one of the things that I love so much about Bravenly products is you're not just getting a product and you're not just getting like melatonin or magnesium or GABA. It is a proprietary blend of things that are proven to work together, to work even better together than when they're just taken alone. And they're in a product that a naturopathic doctor put together. It's quality, and you're in this group, you see thousands of testimonies, so these things work. We only have 4 minutes left before I got to get on another live. I'm cutting it a little close tonight. I've been talking a little bit too much, I guess. So that is one of my favorite things about Bravenly products. So for me, when I use Drift, about 30 minutes later, I am passed out. And it's like you almost can just, so many people will just use Drift to sleep. What I found a lot of people like to do is kind of a layering effect. Because yes, Drift helps you fall asleep, but for some people, you might be struggling with additional anxiety. You might also have hormone issues or inflammation, because chronic pain is something that can keep you up at night and make it difficult for you to sleep. So here are 3 additional Bravenly products that I would recommend based on if you're dealing with any of these issues, okay? Oh, there was so much more I wanted to talk about Drift. There's magnesium in it. It helps regulate your neurotransmitters. It helps stress reduction. It helps bring down your stress with that cortisol hormone, muscle relaxation, nervous system support. It also helps melatonin work how it's supposed to. So when magnesium and melatonin are present, they're working better together. It helps with restless leg syndrome. Okay, no medical claims. I just found it in my research. So the other product I want to talk about is Calm. What I hear a lot of people saying is they like to take Drift and they like to take Calm at night. I want to be very clear. The 3 products I'm getting ready to mention are not designed for sleep. They are not going to make you sleepy. What I think of them as like an indirect path to sleep, meaning Calm, which is like helps with anxiety and stress. When you're using Calm and your anxiety and stress is down, of course it's easier for you to fall asleep. Does this make sense? Can y'all just say makes sense in the comments if that made sense? Because I don't want somebody to think you can only take Calm at night because it makes you sleepy. It doesn't make you sleepy, but it just deals with all of those other factors so that you can sleep better. One of the ingredients that's in Calm is ashwagandha. I'm sure everyone is wildly familiar with ashwagandha. By the way, drop a 1 if you're live, drop a 2 if you're watching the replay. We got about 2 minutes left before I got to go jump on another live. That means I don't even get a potty break between, and that is okay. Okay, everybody said yes, it makes sense. Ashwagandha is an adaptogenic herb, meaning if your body needs it, it uses it. If it doesn't, that's fine. It's scientifically shown to support sleep through multiple physiological mechanisms. Here's a few different ways. There's so many. It helps lower levels of cortisol, stress hormone, okay? It also helps enhance how GABA works in your system. And GABA was in Drift. You guys remember that? So now if you're also using Calm, the ashwagandha in Calm is also helping what's happening over in Drift, okay? It also helps regulate your sleep-wake cycles, and it also helps improve your sleep quality. Okay, we got to just keep going. Let me read this to you. A study published in the journal Sirius, I don't know if I pronounced that right, in 2020, found that ashwagandha extract improves sleep onset, quality, and duration in individuals with insomnia. Participants also reported reduced stress levels, further supporting its dual role in stress management and sleep improvement. Okay, so if you have stress, anxiety, I would highly recommend you also look at Calm to help you with your sleep, or maybe that's just something you need all the time. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this because we don't have time and because I talked about it last week, but if you are having inflammation, chronic pain, the gut-brain connection, I would recommend Gold. And what I will do in a few hours when I'm done with all my lives, I will link the live that I did to Gold. It is, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I thought it was really good. We did a really deep dive on what inflammation is doing in your body. So if you are somebody that you could benefit from any of those things, we're not even talking weight management and any of that, okay? And there's multiple things in here that can help with your weight management. I would highly recommend that you're looking at Gold. That's the 3rd product. The 4th product I want to mention is Drive. So as you know, when we're talking about cortisol, which is stress, when we're talking about leptin, which is hunger or overeating, these are hormones. So if you are someone that you don't feel like your hormones are being regulated, I would look at the product Drive. Can someone put that in the comments? Here's one of the things that I like about Drive. Drive has horny goat weed. It has Tribulus terrestris in it, which helps with hormonal balance. But if you are also, there's so many other reasons to use Drive besides for just sleep, right? But regulating your hormone can help regulate your circadian rhythm. It can influence your cortisol levels. It plays a role in estrogen and progesterone, which has a role in your sleep. I'm having to hurry now, you guys, okay? There's also an interaction with the growth hormone, which has some, I don't even know, I shouldn't have even read that one because I don't have time to go into it more. But if your hormones are not balanced, you're going to notice it. If you've ever seen anybody talking about in menopause, they're awake a lot at night or any of those things, I would highly recommend you're looking into Drive for hormones, which in turn, regulating your hormones helps with sleep, okay? So there are the 4 products. If you need to order, if you have specific questions about them, get with the person that invited you to this group. The other thing that I would tell you guys, tag anyone in this live that needs help with sleep, whether it's falling asleep, staying asleep, or better quality of sleep. Maybe they are interested in Bravenly products, and that's fine. They're still going to find value in the other things, even if it has to do with blue light and turning on the dark mode and those things, okay? So you guys are amazing. Thank you for being here tonight. If you found value, would you please drop value in the comments? And if you really found value, you could even say value twice, okay? You guys are amazing, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.